Hey party people. In this video, I am going to review and critique a viewer's fashion design portfolio. A viewer named Sarah wrote me a while back and asked me to critique her portfolio, and I said I don't do private critiques anymore, but if she was okay with posting her portfolio publicly, I would love to do an on-camera critique. And she agreed, and so we get to benefit from her bravery. So I'm going to drop a link to her portfolio in the description box so that you can pause this video, take a look beforehand, look after, look during, follow along, all those good things, right? So let's take a look. This is her homepage. Really beautiful, arresting image. And I like her logo because it is different, but it's still readable. I could still read her name clearly. A lot of people, in their efforts to make their font or their logo look different, some logos look really weird and illegible. So here is her portfolio. Here is her first project. Images, blurb, sketches. The sketches are quite cool. Very, particular style, very stylized, but the clothes are very clearly rendered. I'm undecided as to whether or not I like this kind of haphazard, raggedy fabric board. And then here are photographs of the clothes, and then one random flat. And then here's her second project, again, inspiration images and the blurb, and sketches, and then photos of what I think are fabric inspiration. And then again, images from the resulting collection. I'm scrolling kind of fast. Please do go look at these very cool images on your own time. And then the third project, images, and then two sketches that are not, they're like fashion illustration, but not really design communication. More inspiration images, and then photographs of the work. And then her contact info. And then this tab, the bad and the beautiful. Photos, larger photos of the collection, cool detail shots. And then this project was shot in two separate projects, I guess, with two different photographers. I absolutely love that the photos are on the editorial side. They're not your standard clean backdrop, front, back, and side lookbook photographs, but they're a little bit different. But at the same time, the lighting is clean enough, and many of the poses, the lying and the standing, you can still see the clothes. Okay. This one, in terms of the photography, has the most lookbookish feel. I think it works though, because the clothes are very complicated, and then she breaks it up with shots from the runway and then photoshopped imagery. So, because, when you're looking at, you can get kind of lookbook fatigue where you're looking at the same format over and over, your eyes kind of glaze over, right? So it's good that she broke them up in this way. And then the last page is a little blurb about herself, her contact, her social media. I know it's not standard in the US to include a headshot with your resume, but I know a lot of countries that is standard for them. So maybe that's why she has her headshot there. It's very nice. All right, so let's talk. All right, let's start with the good stuff. Like I said, the logo is good. The photos are good. All right, the designs, the most important part, the designs. Listen, they're fucking cool. Okay, see? Okay, Sarah, your clothes are fucking cool. And listen, this may not be your style, and but you can't deny they are not the same old shit. They're not boring. They're not basics. Like, they're out there. They're interesting to look at. I kept looking at the photos over and over and over again. And because like I kept looking at them and then finding something new and looking at them again and finding something new. They're just interesting to try to figure out and look at. And I want to see more. I want to look at the clothes and really examine them. They're dope. And, yeah, they're different, but at the same time, they're not too weird to wear. Okay? Because you guys see me wear the same thing day in and day out. This is my professional uniform, but I can get a little extra in my personal life. And, I'll wear a few weird things, but I'll like pair it with jeans or something. And these are things like there's this jacket. Where's this jacket? Ugh. This jacket right here. Sarah, I'm gonna need me one of those. I love statement outerwear. I would throw that on top of shift dresses, on top of jeans, on top of all kinds of outfits. So yeah, separately, these pieces can work. Obviously for the portfolio, they're stylized the most editorial, but it just makes them more interesting to look at. And I want like high res, blow up, close up shots of everything because it's just really good eye candy. Okay, your point of view is, comes through really strong. So I sent this link off to one of my design friends, and I was like, hey, like very nonchalantly, which you can do in text because you can't read tones. I was like, hey, so I'm reviewing this portfolio for a YouTube video, and I'd love to know what you think. This person is a complete stranger to me, so I will not be offended if you hate everything. So just tell me what you think. And they wrote back, they're like, ah! These clothes are really fucking cool. They're like really creative. They're really avant-garde. I really love them. They're totally awesome. The website is kind of disorganized and hard to read, but the clothes are freaking awesome. And which brings us to the part where there are some things that need work, but they're really not that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to take you that long to fix them. Okay. Number one, it's the organization. It's the main portfolio page. So you have 3 main projects, but there's no real discernible separation between the 3 projects. So my recommendation is you can do the drop menu like you did for this one where you have the 2 different projects. You could do a drop menu for your portfolio so you have 1 page for each of your projects and the separation is very clear. Or if you do continue to have the continuous scroll, which a lot of people like, there's nothing wrong with it, just give me a little bit of a break. Like either make the whole page this purple background so that, all the purple is 1 project, all the black part is 1 project, like that. Or even just give me a line, like a dotted line that goes from like here to here, or even just more space, something that really separates the projects. Because another thing that is not helping with the separation is your lack of flats. Again, things might be different where you are, but in the US, if you can't do flats, you can't get a design job. The end. And so when I'm looking at a project and I expect to see more flats. And so when I didn't see flats, I'm like, oh, this is a separate project. And then I scroll back up again. Okay. I want to see flats. So that's number 2, the organization. And then you really need flats. Okay. Again, it might not be pertinent to where you are in the world. I seriously doubt that though. I can't understand designers not needing flats, but that is what it is. I want to see, this is 1. It's not terrible. it's not the best flat I've ever seen. This one doesn't even have a back one. Okay, so flats. These first two projects have interesting illustrations. Like, these are really cool, very stylized. They're very stylized, and yet they show off, they communicate the designs quite clearly. It's very easy to match up which outfit, which pieces, are here and here. Okay. And then here, the illustrations are looser. They're not as strong, but again, they do show off the shape and the mood of the clothes. And then in this last one, you just have these two. It's fine because you have the photos, but this project in general seems a little bit more half-assed. Doesn't look like you put in as much work as the other two. A portfolio should show as much of the design process as possible. When students are putting together a portfolio, I always recommend that they also put together a croquis book. And what I mean by a croquis book is your process book, your design process. And this is a little booklet that is a compilation of all the rough sketches you did while working on this design project, because companies really like to understand your thought process. There are bajillions, that's an accurate term, bajillions of design companies out there, and there are bajillions of different design aesthetics. So, design companies know that when they're interviewing people, they're not going to find projects that perfectly are aligned with their aesthetic. You'll get ones that are close, but you're not going to get the ones that are exactly, the right fit. But they want to see, a good fit in terms of aesthetic, and then a good fit in terms of design process and the way a designer thinks. And so these process books are helpful for the interviewer to look at. In her last page, she writes, "Constants in all of my work, embroidery, hand dyeing, pleating, quilting, and other textile manipulations. I would like to see Sarah do these things. I would like to see the process." And, there's a big difference between liking hand dyeing and incorporating that and actually knowing how to do it yourself, which brings me to my next point, which is, what parts of this portfolio were done by Sarah? Who is Sarah? So she has this blurb here, but it doesn't really give me the right kind of information. When I look at this portfolio, I want to know what Sarah did in this portfolio. Is she the designer? Did she also make the patterns? Did she also do all the pleating? Did she do all the handiwork? Is she amazing at hand embroidery? Okay. You don't have to say, "Oh, I didn't do all these things." You can just point out the things that you did do so that people can be more aware of your skill set. Because if someone says, "Sarah designed these clothes," I'm impressed. But if Sarah also says, "Yeah, but I also did all the patterns for them too," I am extra double impressed, because there's some really intricate pattern work involved. And then if you say, "I sewed all these patterns too," I'm like, wow, that is extra level amazing. And then, she says, "I designed all the prints." Like, every time Sarah tells me she did some part of more of the construction, the more impressed I am. Okay. But if she says, "I designed these things," that's it. It's not a lie, but then she's not impressing me more. Does that make sense? So this blurb, I want it to be more like, "Hey, my name is Sarah. I am a fashion designer." Okay. And that'll tell people the kind of work you're looking for. "I graduated with a master's degree from this fine institution from this part of the world." And, I looked at Sarah's LinkedIn, and she has some really impressive internships. And I think that they're impressive enough that she should just put them right on her portfolio. It's like, "I have a master's from this school. I've interned at these companies. This is my portfolio, and, my skills are XYZ, as you can see. Throughout this portfolio, I hand pleated all the skirts. I dip dyed all these fabrics. I made all the patterns. I made half the patterns. I did all the hand corsetry myself," or, whatever it is, just be like, "I know how to do all these things." That's more interesting and informational to me. Telling me what you're inspired by, you already told me. I looked at your portfolios, I read your blurbs, I know what you're inspired by, I could tell by your images, and you have a really strong, cohesive point of view, so I can tell, okay? So you don't need to tell me, but I do need to know things like where you trained, what your skills are, all the languages you speak that you listed on LinkedIn, just right off the bat. And I know people can look on your LinkedIn, but the things that are the most interesting and valuable for you to get a job should just be right there on your portfolio. It should be everywhere, okay? But definitely right on your portfolio as well as your LinkedIn. In terms of your other social media, like Facebook, I am very against personal and professional social media mixing. I looked at Sarah's Facebook, and because we have no connections in common whatsoever, I was only able to see, profile photos, cover photos, and that's great for Sarah. However, just one little mistake, one stupid somebody does something, and you just want to keep those things separate. And the Instagram link is broken. If you want to show more images, I would fix your Instagram link and fill your Instagram profile with awesome images. The end. A couple of last pieces of advice. One, I would double check the way your website looks on all different platforms. Check your website on a desktop, on a laptop, on a tablet, on a phone, and make sure that everything looks about as well as, like good enough, okay? Because I was trying to look at this website on a tablet and it got cropped funny, and you might not mind the way it's cropped. You might hate it. So do double check those things. And listen, as someone who's had a YouTube channel for 2.5 years, I'm like, can you all watch on a screen this big? That would really help me. So do check the way your websites look on different devices. Random advice number 2 is, I don't know if you've already done this, but just throwing that out there for everyone, I would recommend that you create these kind of like teaser portfolio pages that you can send off to companies in emails. For example, take this project, I would take these inspiration images, take out the text, I would pick like maybe 3 of these outfits and then photographs of the corresponding outfits, and then put them together, maybe include a few flats, and make that into 1 or 2 page PDFs so that people can get kind of a teaser as to your portfolio and your style and your workmanship level before they go and click on the link. Make sure that those PDFs are real small, the file size, because nobody likes giant files from strangers especially. But seriously, Sarah, you should be so proud of yourself. Your work looks excellent. If you had a big hand in the craftsmanship of these pieces, I give you a huge round of applause extra on top of your design skills. Really beautiful work, really, really beautiful work. And, the suggestions I gave, I elaborated. It might sound like I dwelled on areas for improvement, but really I elaborated on those for the benefit of everyone to learn from, not trying to pick on every single little thing you did wrong, right? Because the strength of your projects is really the focus here. They're really good. I just want you to clean some things up so that your portfolio really, it just holds everything together. If you would like to submit your portfolio for video review, again, I don't do private critique, but if you want your portfolio to be critiqued on camera for a video, please do email me at teaching@zoehong.com. I praise Sarah for her work, and before you get depressed and start comparing yourself to her, I would like to mention that she has a master's from an excellent school, and so she put in a lot of work to get to this level. And so again, hashtag always be practicing, hashtag practice not magic. If your first one sucks, you're right on track. It's hard because it's hard, not because there's anything wrong with you. Okay, and just keep at it. Keep going. Sew up another skirt. Try that machine again. Try another pattern again. Try another flat again. Okay, it's all repetition and learning from your mistakes. As usual, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. The portfolio series is continuing, so please do subscribe if you want to keep tabs on the portfolio series. Drop all your questions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.